Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Saturday special show. And I'm your host, coming to you live from Kyiv, Ukraine, Joshua Amatare. And today we're going to be having yet another unique guest with us, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And we're going to be discussing the topic, a mission to change the Nigerian's education system. So I hope that those of us who have been through the education system in Nigeria, and those of you who are going through it, and those of you who intend to have kids who will go through it, this is a segment that you would want to get involved with. And those of you who are not Nigerians, I can assure you that if you listen, you will be able to draw a lot of lessons from this inspiring man's story today. So please share this link with your friends, share it on your wall, share it to as many people as possible, because education is the bedrock of every civilized society. Martin Luther King said, not Martin Luther King, that's Mandela said, the best cure for poverty, or the best solution to poverty, is education. And I believe that if Africa gets educated the right way, we'll be able to become the bastion of knowledge, of progress, of technology, and the world will be able to be attracted to us in a new way. So we'll definitely go from the dark continent to the continent of light and peace and joy and abundance, because we've got the resources, but what we lack right now is resourcefulness. And resourcefulness comes from education, thinking, creativity, innovation. So please share this link with as many people as you can. We're going to be talking to a young man who educated himself to a large extent, has a passion for education in Nigeria, and wants to change the Nigerian educational scene. And it's going to be for the better, because what we have currently is not working for us. More than 50% of those who graduate from universities are not able to get jobs. A lot of people who finish high school struggle in the university, and they're not able to really apply themselves and come out with the best, because a lot of them are bored, or their teachers are not doing the right thing, or the environment with which they are taught is not the best and the most conducive learning environment for them to come out with the best results possible. So all of these things are problems that we currently face in Nigeria. And our guest today is going to be telling us how he intends to help solve this problem. And I believe that this is a topic that everyone should be interested in. We cannot just sit back and say these problems are going to be fixed by God, especially those of us who are very religious. It takes humans who are passionate about problems to step into the gap and say, I am going to take responsibility for this problem and I'm going to bring a solution to it. Now, our educational system clearly has a problem, and the person we're going to be talking to today decided to do something about it, and he's currently working on a project to make sure that the education system in Nigeria works for everybody and makes us a developed and a civilized society. So without much further ado, once again, please share this link on your wall. Make sure that you invite as many people as possible to join us, because we're going to have an exciting and interesting time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome all the way from Nigeria, Mr. Smart Akiba. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Good to meet with you, sir.
It's good to have
Good
you
evening.
here with us. How is Nigeria today?
Nigeria is doing good. I mean, we are enjoying ourselves.
That's wonderful to
Yeah.
hear. I believe that you're in Lagos, because not many people have that story about Nigeria. So for you to say you're enjoying yourself, I believe that a lot of great things must be happening around you. So that's a good testimony to hear from Lagos, Nigeria today. So wherever you are, especially those of you in the diaspora, just know that some people are enjoying themselves in Nigeria, and it's not all doom and gloom like we hear. So please tell us a little bit about yourself. Your name is Smart Akiba. How did you come about the name Smart? Did your parents give that name to you, or was that a name that you assigned to yourself?
No, that is not the original. That's not my original name from my parents.
Okay.
I decided to give that name to myself because my name formerly was Uren, Uren.
Okay.
Uren. So I didn't know the meaning of that name. So I asked my parents the meaning. They couldn't. They couldn't convince me with the meaning. So I decided to change it. So I own myself now, so I should be able to
All
decide
right.
some things myself. Yeah.
So
So
why did you choose the name Smart? There are over 1 million names in the world. So why did you choose the particular name Smart?
okay, I think that's actually in alignment with my story. I wasn't naturally I wasn't a smart guy.
Okay.
you know, right from school, my school days, I wasn't So to me, changing my name is a kind of I needed to change my story as well. So anytime you
Okay.
call me, it's like confession. It's like confession to me.
All
So
right.
the more you call me smart, the more I become smart. Things
Yeah.
like that.
Amazing. So I think our audience can draw some lessons from that, that what you call yourself really matters. Those of you who are Christians, you will understand that from the Bible days, there was a lot of change of names, especially in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament. So if the name that you have right now that was given to you by your parents does not work for you, your destiny is yours to claim, and your life is yours to, forge into what God has called it or has created it to be. So get a name that suits your purpose, get a name that suits the vision that you have for your life, and that would help to aid you in getting what it is that you want. I think when I was in school, I had some teachers who changed their names, but it was more of a spiritual thing. I think they said their names were attributed to idols. So when they became Christians and they understood that, I don't want to bear the name of an idol, so they changed their names. But yours is the first one I'm hearing that was as a result of intention and because you wanted it to be an affirmation to you daily. So I believe that's
Yeah.
something that a lot of people can learn from and realize that it's okay to change your name into what you want yourself to become. So talk to us about this whole issue of not being a smart guy, like you said. Tell us your story and how you discovered, first of all, that you were not very smart and how you became smart and how you got into where you are right now. So just take us chronologically from how it began.
Okay. Really, my story is not funny. I don't always like to tell the story because I mean it's not funny at all.
Wow.
It's not funny. So yeah, I am 33 years old right now. Currently, I'm 33 years old, and as a 33-year-old young man, I couldn't, I didn't know how to read and write as at 27. I was 7 since 2014. So as at 2014, I didn't know how to read and write. I didn't know how to speak English as at 27. As at 27. And people always ask me, like, Smart, how is it possible? How is it possible for you to? And don't, as at as at 27, as at 2000, I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I could not even speak good English. That is why people always ask me, because this has always been my story. So people always ask me, how is it possible, Smart? You were in primary school, you passed from primary school to secondary school, from secondary school to university, and then you didn't know how to read and write. How did you pass exams all these years? Well, the truth is, I had never written any exam on my own. Most of us in Nigeria, it's especially the south part of Nigeria, the south part of Nigeria, we know about exam malpractice. It's not a new thing. It's a culture, as a matter of fact. So, but the truth is, I had never written any exam on my own. When I was in primary school, I was, I was, I was not just a dull student. And according to the pictures my teachers used to present to me then, I was not just a dull student, I was the dullest among the dull students. That was bad. That was terrible. So I remember when I wrote my WAEC, I wrote WAEC 2 times, I wrote NECO 3 times. So I wrote exams 5 times. I wrote the first WAEC, it was cancelled. I wrote this NECO GCE, it was withheld and later it was cancelled. And the reason why they canceled it was because I copied. There was a lot of issues at the center where I wrote the exams. I wrote the third one, it was cancelled. I wrote the fourth one, it was withheld. And then the fifth one, I wrote 2011. And that is the one, I think, yeah, I passed that one. But what I did before I passed that one was another story, because I, I copied. It's the same thing. Where I wrote the exam was at one local government in Cross River State. I don't want to mention the name of the school, but it was at Yakon local government in Cross River State. It was in the village. I paid, and then the answers were displayed on the blackboard. So I took time to copy it. So I copied my exams. My jam, the jam I wrote, I did the same thing. I copied. My aptitude test was the same thing. I paid. I paid for aptitude test. I paid for admission. So I didn't write exams. I didn't pass exams on my own. My first year in school, my first year in university, I did 8 courses. Out of the 8 courses, three. I had three, and then I failed 5. And the reason why I failed the 5 was because I didn't have enough money to sort to give to my lecturers. So I only paid for, excuse me, I only paid for 3 courses because that was what I could afford to pay for. So I did the same thing. I've been doing that first semester, second semester, like that from my first year to my third year.
What course were you
That was
reading?
2000. Okay, I read elementary education under educational foundation and administration.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that means that from primary one or from the nursery school, every exam you wrote, you had to depend on someone else to pass. You had to copy from someone else. And you didn't even understand what you were copying. You just knew that A was A and B was B. And then you would submit your work and then pass to the next class. And that was how you were till you graduated, up until you got into the university. You couldn't even understand
exactly.
what you were copying.
Exactly. Even in my secondary school, let me tell you what happened.
Wow.
The first WAEC I wrote in 2007 was very funny. So here am I in the classroom. So they brought the expo, the stuff, for us to copy. And when they brought it, I did not even want to find out if what I was about copying was in alignment with the question with the question. I just started copying. I just started transferring from the rough paper to my answer booklet. Without checking. I was just writing the stuff, writing and writing. So I mean,
Wow. I'm astonished because if someone had ever told me this was possible before meeting you today, I would not believe it. That somebody went from primary one or from even nursery school, because we learn ABCDs in our nursery school and then we start forming words before we get even into primary one. And you went all that way to university without knowing how to read and without knowing how to even understand what it is that you were doing.
okay,
Wow.
I understood alphabet.
Okay, but you didn't know
I
how to
could
put words
I
together.
could exactly. That was the major problem. I didn't know how to put words together, but I could, spell some basic words. But
So that means all your tests you
sorry.
had to copy, all your assignments you had to copy,
Exactly,
and then all the
exactly,
exams.
exactly,
And you were never
exactly. That
caught
was
by
the
any
only.
of your lecturers in school and stuff like that.
Ah,
You
many times, many times, many times.
oh, when they catch you, they would just let you go because they knew you could not do any better, correct?
Yeah, sometimes they will seize my paper and then I have to rewrite that exams again. And I had a lot of issues. I was just trying to go straight to the point. So if I want to go into the detail, it's going to take a lot of time. So there are a lot of times where I had to rewrite a particular
Exam.
paper twice. Yeah, the particular exams twice. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And did you repeat any class?
Sure. When I was in my secondary school, I repeated classes, though I because of that I couldn't continue in the same school. So I had to move to another school
Okay.
because I didn't want to repeat
Wow.
again. So I
So
had to
it
move to another.
so you got to the university and in your first year you copied your way through, but then it
Yeah.
wasn't enough because you didn't have enough money for the other 5 courses. So out of 8 you were
Yeah.
only able to pay for 3. So is it
Yeah.
that you had to copy that as well, or you just had to pay and they give you a pass?
Yeah. I had a friend too, very close friend in school then that used to help me write some of my exams. And the truth is, anytime I'm not sitting close to this friend in the classroom, I just knew that I failed. I knew that I would not make it. That very exam is gone, you know. So the one I could pay, sometimes, when you are paying, the lecturer has to look at your grade, he has to look at your scores, and then he will only add something to what you have. So if you have, for example, if you have D, it will add something for you to have C. If you have C, it will add something for you to have B. If you have B, it will add something for you to have A. But for me to have C or D, it means I had. If for me to have C, it means I had D. So my grade was always C, D, or E.
Wow.
So I didn't have B. I didn't have A. So if I think, oh yeah, I had one B, and that one B, it was my friend that wrote the exams for me, and then he wrote the exam, I paid, and then from C to B.
Okay. Before you go forward, I want to understand something. So, what happened to you all this while from primary school? Because I'm sure the audience are as shocked as I am. Is it that you did not understand anything that was being taught in class, or is it that you just could not comprehend? Or what happened? Is it that you didn't understand anything that was said at all in class? Or is it that you just could not remember it to write it down? What exactly made you not to be able to read and write and, at least pass one or two papers on your own?
Okay, first of all, there are a lot of things responsible to that. A lot of things responsible to that. Number one was because I didn't have the right foundation.
Okay.
When I say the right foundation is from my family, is I don't want to blame my family anyway, but I'm just trying to, like, I didn't have that educational foundation. Like, when you go to school, and then when you come back home, then your parents have to tell you, do this, do this.
Yeah,
They
they
help you
help you do
to
your assignments and they help you practice your
exactly,
grammar and,
exactly.
your writing and all
Exactly.
that.
I sincerely, I didn't have such kind of opportunity in my
Okay.
family.
Okay.
So my mom is actually illiterate. My dad was not illiterate, but my dad didn't have time for anybody. So
Okay.
so I grew up like that. But I not like, even when I didn't like schooling. Naturally, I didn't like schooling. I wasn't a school kind of guy. Right from my childhood, I didn't like schooling. So I realized that later when I am at this stage. The reason why I didn't like schooling anyway.
So you were only
So I
going
think
because they pushed you to go, not because you had any desire to be there.
exactly, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
But then when you were there sitting in class, what goes through your mind? Is it that you're not able to comprehend what the teacher is saying?
Okay, especially in the university, especially in the university, that was even the worst part, because, like, that is in university there is the high kind of, so even the jargons they are using, I couldn't understand. That
Yeah,
is why I
because
said
they'll be
that.
using big words and they'll be using technical
Eh,
terminologies that they expect that you would
exactly,
have learned. But because you
exactly.
couldn't cope in high
So
school, university was like a
ex-
totally different experience.
exactly,
All
exactly.
right.
So that was why.
So, yeah, go
that,
ahead.
that was why in my that was why in my university I was now spending my time for school politics. I was just like devoted for school politics.
Okay, so you
you
went
know
into the
so
political realm in school as
yeah,
a
I like
distraction
social
from what you were
gatherings.
lacking in class.
Exactly. So
Okay,
I was
so
just
what were
staying
you
at the
doing? Is it that you were campaigning for people or you were running for office yourself?
Yeah, I make friends and I was very popular. People like me in school. In Cross River State, I speak Efik mostly. It's not as if I couldn't speak English. So
Okay.
I couldn't speak good English. Not that I couldn't speak. I could understand, I could speak a bit of pidgin, and but since it was in my state, we use more of my native dialect. So I wanted to, yeah, actually, I contested for some offices. I was the director of social. I was director of social in
Okay.
school. So
So since you were a
yeah,
jovial guy, you were able to find your way into a position of power even if you couldn't read and write.
exactly.
Wow. All right. So in your first year, you failed five and you passed three. So tell us how things progressed from there.
Okay, so I have been copying. Just take it that way. I've been copying. I've been paying lecturers, and that was how I moved from my first year to the second year, from the second year to the third year. So it was the third year when something happened. That was when my something happened in my life. That's when the new development takes place in my life. And that was when I listened to a man called Pastor Akoma Oga. And then Pastor Akoma Oga was preaching on 30 things to do before you are 40 and 20 things you need to do before you are 30.
Okay.
And then he said a lot of things, but one thing that got me inspired on that message was when he said, before you are 30, read at least 30 books. But here am I. I didn't read. I didn't even finish one book. I was 27 years, and I was 27 years as at then. I
Wow.
didn't finish one book. And then, but I listened to this man, the wealth of wisdom that came out of him was amazing. So I was just that inspired. And he went further to explain, to give his own personal testimony, how he read from the age of 20, from the age of 19 to the age of 21, he read over 50 books. I never hear this kind of, like, from the age of 19 to the age of 21, he read over 50 books. Here am I, 27, have not read like one book. So I started asking myself some hard question. Why should I be the one to come to this world and just die foolish? Just die, come and die foolish. Why should I be the one? No, I just decided at that moment, no, I'm not going to be the one to just come on earth. And then just, I was born foolish, even though it is now I know that I was not born foolish. God never created anyone to be foolish. But that was what I used to think. I was like, I was born foolish and I want to die foolish. No, it can never happen in my life. So that was when I started buying books. I stopped going to the lectures. So I had to homeschool myself. So I had to, I would be reading from morning till night. I would be writing. I would be taking a lot of notes every day. I was not going out. I would just buy food, lock myself in, no friends, nobody. I said, I want to change my life. I want to read. So I started visiting the library. I was just that radical. So, but before long, before 2 months, I realized that when I say something, it seems there are some new sense, you know. So I began to make sense to my own self, you know. So I just begin to make sense for myself, you know. When I say something, it makes sense to me.
For
So
the
I was
first
like,
time in your life.
yes, exactly. So I was like, this thing is working. So because it's working, I double my effort again. So I bought more books. I locked in myself more. Then this time I will be reading night and day, every day. I'll just be reading, and thank God for my aunts. I was working in my aunt's office then, and then I had some freedom, so I can stop going to work, hoping that she will be sending us the small money to my account. So I didn't bother about what to eat then. But so I was now focusing on reading. So I was just spending my time in the house, reading. So before long, things started changing. Things started changing. Then it gets to the point where I ask myself some hard questions. This happened when just during the development process, my personal development process. So I
Okay.
asked myself one question. I asked myself, how does human brain process information? How do we learn? That was a hard question. So because I needed to understand how human brains process information, that took me to another level. So I had to start watching videos on YouTube. I start going to the library because I need to understand how human brains process information. So during this process, I discovered something very interesting that has even changed my entire life. I realized that now I discovered many things, but I want to share two things. I realized that every human being has what they call neurons. I didn't know all these things. I'm not a science student, so I won't be able to explain that. But I discovered that based on the research I saw, that every human being has what they call neurons. Neurons is brain cells, isn't it? It's brain
Yeah.
cells. So, yeah, so now, if you have brain cells, you should be able to learn anything. It is only when you don't have brain cells that you cannot learn anything. So I discovered that the more you learn, the more your brain cells are wired. The more you learn and practice what you learn, the more your brain cells are wired. And the more your brain cells are wired, the more learning sticks to your brain. That was enough for me. That was enough. So the principle there was the consistency and focus. So if you focus on whatever, anything you want to learn, if you are consistent and you are focused on that thing, you will master it. That was a breakthrough. That was the best breakthrough in my life. So another thing I discovered during the research was that there are three types of learners. In other words, there are three types of learners. So the man went further to explain that every student does not have the same learning style. We all have individual learning strengths, individual learning abilities. So my learning strength and your own learning strengths are two different. The fact that we sit down in the same class, learn the same information, does not mean that we can process the same information at the same speed. So we learn differently. And this is what I didn't know. This is what I didn't understand. This is what my teachers didn't understand. So he said there are three types of learners. There are visual learners, and then there is a kinesthetic learner. And then he said, auditory learners are those people that they are active listeners. These are the people we call bright students in the classroom because they have the ability to listen, process information fast, and then when you ask them questions, they also have the ability to give you back exactly what you explained to them. Those are the people that is the people they called auditory learners. Then you also have another set of people called visual learners. I am more of a visual learner. Now, as a visual learner, the best way to teach me anything is to put it on a visual form. You don't need to talk too much. I don't understand, even up till now. So if you want to teach me something, put it on a diagram, put it on a picture format, or you draw, just demonstrate it. I want to see the arrangement of the text. I want to see how it looks like. That is the fastest way you can teach me anything, even mathematics, anything. My brain has the capacity to learn anything. It's just the method of the teaching that makes it different. Then the third types of the learners is
Kinesthetic.
kinesthetic. Yes, kinesthetic learners. Now, these guys are the most frustrated human beings in the classroom because they are hands-on people. They want to touch, they want to feel, they want to participate, they just want to be a part of what you teach them. So the best way to teach them anything is to make them be a part. You make them practice it, let them get involved. And these are the guys, these are our talented engineers, these are the technicians, these are the dancers, these are the footballers. You can't put those kind of a classroom. You can't put those kind of people in the same classroom with the auditory learners, the listening kind of people. And it can't just work that way. It can never work that way. So I mean, this was to me, it was a huge eye opening. That was the source of my inspiration. So after this research, I went back home and I started organizing seminar. That was 2017. I started organizing seminar for teachers because I needed to teach them this thing. It sounds simple, but this is what actually make them to destroy a lot of potentials out there. A lot of lives, a lot of students. Just imagine my teacher telling me that no matter what I learn, no matter what he taught me, or whatever, that I find it difficult to understand. It's as if my brain is not working. Using those kind of words on children, there was this impression that I would never be able to learn anything. Meanwhile, the fault was not from me, the fault was from her. Him. He was supposed to discover the best method that should be or would be appropriate to my own kind of learning style, because I have my own learning style, I have my own unique learning strength. So it is the responsibility of the teacher to customize his content or a curriculum to align with the learning style of the student. But if you don't even understand that every student has a learning style, how would you do that? That is another kind of ignorance. That is the biggest ignorance I've seen in educational system of Nigeria. Putting all the students in the same classroom, putting all the students with different learning abilities in the same classroom, teaching them the same thing, and then you expect them to process the information at the same rate. It won't work. And then you now the worst part is you now give them exams and rate them and give them the same, and you want to rate these people the same way. It can't work. It's not possible, you know. So, but anyway, but that was a source of my inspiration to start organizing seminars and
So this
another
was
organization.
towards the end of your third year in school, correct?
Yeah, my third year in school. All this process started right from my third year in school. Because I actually stopped going to school.
Okay.
Yeah, I stopped going to school. I only went there to write exams, like normal copying. So I wasn't interested about their schooling because no matter what the lecturers would be saying in the classroom, I still didn't understand. What's the essence of going there? What's the essence of you speaking? I don't understand what you are saying. So I just was tired of the whole thing. So I stopped going there. So let me stay in my house and school myself. That's what I did. So I didn't go to school anymore. So I was just on my own in the house
Okay.
all these years. And yeah. So from that time, from that time till now, just to tell you how effective it is for you to homeschool yourself. From that time till now, I've been able to write 2 books.
Wow.
Yes, I've been able to write. Now, I could have done much more than that, if not because this is another subject, if not because of much activities in church, religious
Okay.
activities, moving from do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was distracted. I could have, sincerely speaking, I could have done much more than that. So but I thank God that yeah, it all works for my good anyway.
All right.
So
So as soon as you figured
yeah.
out that you could learn yourself, you did all of this research. Did you have a final year project, or that was how you completely abandoned school?
Yeah, I actually, oh, this, your question, you are just asking question that got me. You want to dig out some stuff. So the truth is, during my final year, I was supposed to submit my project topic to my project supervisor. Guess what happened?
What?
I went to Unical. Unical is Federal University in Nigeria. So I went to Unical to get a project topic from another project that has already been done to go and submit it to my supervisor. I don't know if you get that.
Yeah, you didn't want to write your project, so you just went to look for one that you could replicate and photocopy and just submit as yours,
Ex-
right?
ex-
At least you changed the name.
Exactly. Exactly. That
So
was
at this
what
point in time, your name was not yet smart, right?
I actually changed. Yeah, actually, I changed. My name was not smart. I changed my name that same 2000. Yeah, 2014. That was when I changed my name. Toward the end of 2014 was when I changed. I
Okay.
changed my name to Smart.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but you had already discovered all of these things about learning. So why did you still want to copy instead of doing the work yourself?
No, 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 no. I didn't discover this about learning before then.
Okay.
Remember, it took. I'm just trying to give you the summary of the thing. It took a process. It took a longer, a
Yeah,
long
you said
time.
you were in your third year when this happened, right?
Yeah,
And you write your
yeah,
projects in your
yeah.
fourth year, correct?
No, 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 no. In my fourth year was 2015.
Okay.
My third year was 2014. My
All
fourth
right.
year
So
was
you
2000.
get your project topic and all that in your third year.
In my third year, towards just yes, actually my third year towards 2015,
All
towards the
right.
fourth year.
So you went to another university in the hopes that you would get someone else's project to just come submit as yours. So
Just
what
submitted.
happened
Exactly.
after
Okay,
that?
so I succeeded at that. I actually submitted the project topic and it was approved. And later it was assigned. I was assigned to a project supervisor, and then, but I didn't continue. That was where I I stopped. Because subsequently I discover, like you ask, how come after discovering what you discovered and then you were still copying? So I didn't go back again.
All
I
right.
didn't go back. In fact, the lecturer was even doing another thing that got me angry. The lecturer, that is the supervisor, my previous supervisor, she asked me to, I wasn't the only person, she asked us to pay for consultation fee just for her to meet with us, just for us to meet with her. She asked us to pay for it. And then she said, anytime we are coming to meet with her, we are going to be paying like nothing less than 2,000 naira for our recharge card. So anytime you are coming to give her correction, anything to correct, she want to collect money from you. But as at this time, I didn't even have the money. And then looking at my grade, it's very poor. Everything was just, so just take the degree, just
So you were happy to
it was
abandon
important thing.
them.
Yeah. I just leave it for them. Let
All
me
right.
let me go and face my stories on here.
So
So
what did you do
it
next?
was so what I did next was for me to I devoted more of my time this time around to develop myself.
Okay.
Yeah, because I felt that is the most important thing for now. Yeah, so having a degree is not going to be my problem. Yeah, so I can have degree at any time. But what is the essence of having a degree? But looking at you don't have anything. You are not productive. You can't show anything. So there is no point. So but then I was now devoted to train teachers. I wanted to do more of training teachers, bringing more awareness. I needed them to understand that they can help students to discover their unique learning strengths, and then they can also do everything possible to align their content, to create their content or align their content with the personality, with the learning personality or unique personality of every student in the classroom. So that was what I actually wanted them to do. So I did that for some time, and
Okay.
then I got
Before you,
stuck.
before you go forward telling us what you did, tell us how you started getting teachers to listen to you. Because initially you were running away from teachers. I'm sure teachers were not your friends because they had traumatized you your entire life and they had told you you were
Yeah.
dull, you were no good, you were the worst student in the class. So how did you start gathering teachers and how did you start making them listen to you? Because that's a giant
Okay.
leap from you, not being a good student, then you educating yourself and now going out there to get teachers to listen to you, to get trainings from you and become better. So tell us how that happened.
Okay, so what I did is when I visit school, I had to talk to the head teacher, for example. So
Okay, so
I had to
one day
talk to
you
the head
just
teacher. Then
decided
I'll
that
tell the head
teachers
teacher
need
my
to know
student.
these things, and then you started visiting secondary
Ex-
schools, telling them that this is something you can
exactly.
offer
Yeah.
them, correct?
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. That's what I did. Yeah. So I will organize free. The seminar was actually free. Then I will
okay,
organize the seminar, call some people to come and speak.
okay,
Then my point, yeah, they will speak on different subjects, but
okay,
the focus was I wanted them to understand that every student has is not there is nothing like a dull student. Every student has his or her unique learning strength. So
okay.
it is your responsibility as a teacher to discover the personality of that student and then try to align. Because I'm not seeing any reason why, if the student was already smart, the parent wouldn't bring the student to your school. They brought the student because the student was not intelligent. So they brought the student for you to make him or her intelligent. So it's to me, I saw it as an irresponsibility. So it, I believe that if the students are not doing well, it's a reflection of a teacher not doing well. So it is your responsibility. But you see, these are the things that our teachers don't understand. But another thing I also observe about teachers is the fact that as a teacher, when a student is doing well, you will take credit. They will ask, who does this? Who make this teacher like this? You say, I'm the one. And you are so excited that about that very person that you have been able to make better. What about the other one? But they are all of them
Yeah,
are
they
in the
say
same.
success has many fathers.
Exactly. So what happened to the other one? So these are the things I didn't understand. But the truth is, if we can fix our teachers, the student will be better.
All
Then it
right.
is impossible for
So,
our student not to
in a
be better
nutshell,
if our
how
teachers are
many how many schools were you able to go to and get to teach the students during that period of time? 10, 20? How many trainings did you hold? Do you have a number?
here. I organized training. Yeah, I went to three schools. This happened just 2017.
Okay.
From 2017 downward, yeah, from 2017 downward was on my, I was on myself. I was trying to develop myself.
Okay.
So I was just busy trying to develop myself. So I started organizing this training towards 2017.
Okay.
Then
And all
I
of this was
visited some.
happening in Cross River.
Exactly, Cross River
Okay.
State, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it was
right.
happening in
So
Cross River State.
what made you to change, or what moved you out of that phase into the phase that you're in right now?
Okay, so yeah, I did that to some extent. I trained teachers to some extent, so I needed to know more. So I needed to move to the next level. It was as if it was boring to me. I keep on
Okay.
repeating the same process again and again. So I needed to expand. I needed to know more. And for me to know more, I needed to hook up with the people who have gone ahead of me as far as educational sector is concerned. So I needed to needed mentorship. I needed to also volunteer to work in an educational consulting firm or an NGO that do things in the area of education. So that was exactly what I wanted to do. But as I needed, so I looked around Calabar, Cross River State. I didn't see a good educational platforms or NGO where I could learn these things. So the another option was for me to move to Lagos because there were a lot of them in Lagos. But coming to Lagos, I didn't have anybody at all. I didn't have anybody in Lagos. There was no friends. There was no relative. Nobody.
And
And
you had never been
as at
there
that time,
either.
no, I've been in Lagos for 2 times.
Okay.
I've been in Lagos. I came for a conference in Lagos twice. Yeah, that was 2016 also. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I've been in Lagos twice. So so now I came. So I during the planning to move to Lagos, I had just 12,000 naira in my pocket. So this 12,000 naira, I was like, I can't go to Lagos with 12,000. For me to go to Lagos, I have to plan ahead. And the plan was supposed to be financially, it was supposed to be maybe at least 300,000, at least 300,000 for my accommodation, and then my feeding for at least for the next 3 4 months until I now have a small job that will be giving me money so that I will keep volunteering my service. But while looking at the plan, the whole thing, I was now asking myself, 300,000 naira, how long am I going to be saving for me to have 300,000 naira and for me to be able to move to Lagos? So yeah, it was as if that plan was not going to work very fast. So it was supposed to take me at least 2 years or 3 years for me to save 300,000 naira so I could move to Lagos. you know, so I asked myself one hard question: what if I die tomorrow without fulfilling that purpose? Yeah. What if I die tomorrow without fulfilling that purpose? So God will hold me responsible because there are people that are supposed to be free because of me. So I told myself, no, whatever is going to happen in Lagos, let it happen. I'm going to Lagos. And from Calabar to Lagos is 8,000 naira. Here I have 12,000. So I used 8,000 naira to buy ticket, pay transport to Lagos. I just packed my stuff, moved to Lagos with just 4,000 naira. Remaining 4,000, I landed in Lagos with 4K in my pocket. 4,000. I landed in Lagos 2018 December, 29 December 2018. I landed in Lagos with 4K in my pocket. 2 days later, I had an accident. 2 days later, that was on 31st of December, I had an accident. I was knocked down like it was that bad. My laptop was smashed. So I was just frustrated on the road.
So
But I
you were
knew what I
basically
came for. I
homeless and you had nothing within that period of time.
nothing. I was on the streets.
So
I slept
where
on
were
the
you
street.
living? Were you sleeping outside someone's house, or what exactly? How did you survive?
No, I slept outside. I didn't sleep anybody. I didn't have anybody. I said I didn't have anybody now. So I didn't have anybody. So I slept outside. I in fact the first place I slept, the first place I landed was Ikeja here, opposite airport hotel here in Ikeja. Because that restaurant, there's a restaurant there where I knew that restaurant when I came to Lagos 2015, a conference. The hotel where I was very close to that restaurant. So that restaurant, they open 6 p.m. and then they close around 6 a.m. in the morning. So the restaurant used to be there all night through. Right. So when I came, that was where I slept outside because I knew that people will always be around that area all night. So I sat down there. I slept there. So I slept there for 3 days before the landlord now came and dragged me out and asked me to leave. you know. So I moved to another location. So moving to another another location too, I was asked to leave. After spending about 3 days. I mean, it goes beyond this anyway. I'm just trying to
Summarize
summarize the
it.
whole thing. Yeah, so I moved to another location and I was asked to leave. So I moved and I I was in fact, sir, I was just frustrated. I was I was extremely frustrated on the road. But I knew what I came for, like I said. I knew that I told myself I will never go back to Calabar until I get what I came to do in Lagos. When I left Calabar, I told my people, my parents, that I'm going to Lagos. I have a training to attend in Lagos, and that would take me about 3 months before coming back. And thank God for my parents. They didn't ask me who is going to sponsor you, who are you going to live with.
They didn't ask for any details. They just said, God be
No,
with
no,
you,
no, no.
safe journey.
Yeah, exactly. So I thank God for that because that would have been a kind of interruption anyway. So, yeah, yeah. So I've been on the streets. I've been so frustrated on the streets. So, but after 2 weeks later, I got a job. I got a job on to work in the bakery, a place where they used to do bread, produce bread. So, and I with accommodation. So I'll be sleeping in the bed night. Then on my daytime, I'll be coming down to Ikeja to volunteer, just to look for where to volunteer my service, to do what actually brought me to Lagos. So
Okay, so
I
the
worked there
baking
for
was
about
taking
10
place
months.
overnight. So that was your working
Yes,
hours. And then they gave you an
exactly,
accommodation. So during the daytime, you now went looking for what you really wanted to do, which was work with an educational firm or an educational
exactly,
company per se.
exactly, exactly,
Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
go ahead.
So I work at night. I will slice bread at night. So we're two of us in the bakery. So we start from 6 p.m. and then we have to slice all the bread throughout the night. Sometimes we work from 6 till 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I will sleep maybe 2 3 hours. Then I will wake up and then move to Ikeja. So I have been doing that for about 10 months or 10 good months before finally I was sacked. So I didn't know that the sacking was for my own good anyway, because that was not where I was supposed to be. But then um, I I was sacked because I was a bit scared because I didn't have where to sleep again. I was like, oh, am I still going back to
Being
to the street?
homeless and sleeping in front
Because
of
the money,
restaurants.
yeah, exactly. I mean, my salary then was 20K, and I couldn't save enough to in this period of 10 months that I've been working in this bakery. I couldn't save enough to afford me accommodation. So what am I going to do from there? And I thank God for um, the relationship that I built from January, from that period, from that during that 10 months. Yes, I had some kind of relationship, new relationship I built in Lagos then. So when this thing happened, I now called one family woman like that, and I explained everything to her. She said, "Okay, smart, move to my house," and that was how I moved to her house. From there, I was in her house volunteering full time now. So I now had opportunity to volunteer full time to the educational consulting firm here in Lagos. And then,
So you actually found an
like that,
educational firm that you were working with after a while, correct?
a, very good one, yes, very good one, very
Okay.
standard educational
And you
consulting
told
firm
them that you
here.
wanted to you wanted to volunteer to work with them. I'm sure they would have asked you for your resume.
Yeah.
So what did you tell them?
Oh, in fact, that was the first time. She's just a good person. She's just I don't know how to explain. This is another story for another day.
Okay.
But I believe that that was God trying to order my step because God saw my heart. I didn't come to Lagos because I was looking for a job. Yeah, if I was looking for a job, Lagos wouldn't be the first choice, but rather Port Harcourt, because I had some people in Port Harcourt. I had some relatives that have been in Port Harcourt for years. So Lagos wouldn't be my first choice. So, but I just believe that God saw my heart because I was passionate about what I came to do in Lagos. And then God ordered my steps to the right person. So this lady actually asked me for my degree. you know. And then she was like, you look smart and you sound smart. I mean, but your degree, but that didn't stop her to take me in.
Okay, no, you're jumping. I want you to tell us how that discussion went. She said your degree, and then what did you tell her?
Okay, I actually explained to her what happened. I told her the
Okay.
same story here. Yeah, I
Okay.
told her everything. So
And
she
then
was also
what was
inspired.
her response?
She was inspired. She was inspired. And then she saw me like someone that, that has good future.
Okay.
And then to me, I mean, she took responsibility. That is what it means. She just took responsibility to bring me in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she said you're free
You
to
know,
come at any time and volunteer and learn from us and see the way we do things and all that, correct?
exactly. I started working with her immediately.
Okay.
Started working with her immediately. And then when I was sacked, I started working with her full time.
Okay.
And then after about 5 months, they started paying me.
Wow.
So I mean, they just started paying me. I don't want to go into the detail about that, but
So is that
you
where
know
you
what
still
it
work
means. You
up,
don't have,
until today?
of course, of course,
All right.
of course, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So talk to us about this mission. So when did you come up with this idea of wanting to change the entire Nigerian curriculum? Is it from when you were lecturing the teachers back there in Cross River, or is it due to your experience with this organization that you're working with right now?
Yeah, it actually started from that Calabar. It started from where I was in Calabar before I moved to Lagos. But it's when I came to Lagos, they now exposed me to another level. Listening to my boss, like my boss, he has too much, too much wisdom, as far as education is concerned. I cannot exhaust it. So listening to him is a kind of another level of motivation to me. For me, I just believe that I am the only one right now responsible to change the educational system of Nigeria. Because the truth is, if we leave the educational system of Nigeria to remain where it is, of course, you know that we are where we are because of what the people are, the foundation, because of the foundation they laid for us. If we know that where we are now is not better, is as a result of the foundation they laid for us. So if we let it be the same way, it means that the next 50, 100 years to come, education system of Nigeria will still remain the same. So we don't have any excuse. As I'm talking to you right now, if you study comparative education, you realize that educational system of like China, like Singapore, like Finland, they planned for it over 50 years ago. Over 50 years ago. So whatever they are right now, the prosperity of these nations, like Singapore, for example, they have no mineral resources. They have nothing. But look at them. Compared to Nigeria. Nigeria, we have a lot of mineral resources. But how come Nigeria is where it is? But go to Singapore. Singapore, they have the best system of education in the world. To do their research, you see the best, the best. But they have no mineral resources.
So you mean
So we
they've
don't have.
overtaken Finland?
Yeah, it's just between Finland, Liverpool, South Korea, Finland. I'm sorry. Finland, Singapore, South
All
Korea,
right.
Japan. It's just like fluctuating. Sometimes it's fluctuating. Yeah.
All right.
So, but they are always Finland and Singapore. They are always on top. They are always on top. It is either Singapore or Finland. Either Singapore or Finland. Yeah. They are always on top.
Amazing. Talk to us about the response that the teachers had when you started teaching them in Cross River. Were they happy with what you had to say? Did they give you good feedback
Too,
as to
too much.
how
They
things
were they
began to
were
change in
so
their own schools? Tell us about that.
they were they were so excited. I had the video. I had the short videos we took from them. I don't know. It was on my laptop that was smashed, but the hard drive is still there. We took some short videos from them. They were so excited. They were so excited. Like, big. The truth is, they were like, if they couldn't pay me for it, if they had their way, they should have paid me for it. Because I mean, we didn't have such kind of opportunity in Calabar, so I was not just the only one that trained them. I actually called some people, speakers, to come and train them on different teaching skills and learning skills, things like that. A lot of things, and the top 21st century skills, different subjects. We expose them to different subjects, outside the classroom and all that. So they were so excited. They were so excited about it. They were so excited.
Incredible. So right now, where you work, you help to train teachers from primary to secondary school, and
Yeah, that is
you also have an NGO aspect that you train government teachers for free. Is that correct?
okay. For government teachers, we train here in Lagos, for example. We train head teachers basically.
Okay.
Yeah, we train teachers and head teachers for public public primary schools. So
All right.
we focus on that foundation. But
Okay.
that is for our NGO, right? So, but our office, our headquarters in in Nigeria, what they do there is educational consulting. That one is not an NGO, is not free. So we consult to schools. So we have the aspect where we consult to schools, private schools, and then they pay us. But what we do here in Nigeria full time is NGO. We train teachers. So our focus is training teachers, especially head teachers, leadership development, how to set goals, and many other things. Yeah.
Okay, great. So when did you discover DSA and what impact did it have on your educational life?
Oh my goodness. Ah, my goodness. Yeah, you know, meeting with DSA is the best thing that has ever happened in the history of my life. Like,
Wow.
I'm 33 years old now, but I wish I met DSA when I was in my 20s. Yeah, yeah. I just wish I met this kind of man when I was in my 20s. I the truth is, when I met him the first time, that was 2019 July. I didn't like him. Yeah, that is not the truth. No, I didn't.
Why? What happened?
I didn't. I have to tell you the
Oh,
truth.
before you go
I
forward,
didn't
please
like
let me encourage the viewers.
because of his
Before you
approach.
go into this new phase, please give me a second to encourage the viewers to please share this link with your friends, with your family members. I can assure you that, or those of you who have been watching, I'm sure you have been inspired and you've been, surprised by some of the things that you've heard. And I believe that everybody who is listening, or every Nigerian, every African that is listening, can draw some inspirational things from the life of Mr. Smart. And I think what he's saying is very important because it influences each and every one of us. Without education, we're not going to have a civilized society. We're not going to have an industrialized society. We're not going to have a society of civilized people who would do things the right way. We will not be able to get rid of things like corruption. We will not be able to change the foundational principles that has been corrupted in Nigeria. So education is important, and the story of Mr. Smart also makes us realize that we can become whatever we want to be as long as we're willing to put in the work. So I believe that if we share this link, it will go a long way to change and help a lot of people see things differently. And that's what we need right now. We need people who can believe in themselves and come up with solutions to problems that we're facing in Nigeria. We're tired of people just talking about it. We're tired of people just complaining about it. We need more people who would do the hard work of becoming personalities so that they can become solutions to society. So Mr. Smart embodies everything that we've been talking about on this DSA show and on DSA's platform, which is you are the solution. You can become the solution as long as you're willing to put in the work. So please share this link so that somebody out there can see this story and get inspired to be just like Mr. Smart and do whatever they want to do in their own spheres of calling and in their own field as well. And also, it's important to realize that most people just wait for them to be given knowledge. Most people say, this person didn't teach me this, that person didn't teach me that. But self-education is the key to progress. And you can see that from the life of our guest today. All right, so back to you, Mrs. Smart. Please tell us of how you discovered DSA and the impact that he has had on you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, like I said, when I met him for the first time, July 2019, I didn't like him. You know,
Okay. Hello. All right, I think briefly we've lost him. Okay, so while we're trying to get him back, please go on DS's YouTube channel if you need to be
because of
educated and if you need to understand
here in
how
Nigeria.
to get things done. DS's channel is there for you. All the messages are free. And as soon as you key into that, I'm sure you would never remain the same. You can also go on Amazon.com, and if you subscribe to Kindle, you can be sure that all the books that DSA has will be made available to you. Mr. Smart, are you back?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, we lost you for a second there. Go ahead. So you did not like DSA when you first saw him. Tell us why.
Yes. Okay, so I said before then, before I met him, before I started watching him on YouTube anyway. So I used to hear about him. Yeah, I used to hear about him as one of the Nigerian pastors that has pastored the largest congregation in Europe. But I have never seen him before. So when I met him during that, when I met him, when I started watching him
In
on
2019.
July, yeah, 2019 July. That was during when one of the top pastors in Nigeria had issues with his raping issues. It was a trending issue in Nigeria then.
Okay.
I don't know if you can still remember.
Yeah, the
There's
Koza
one
pastor, right?
exactly.
Okay.
So sincerely speaking, I I heard what DSS said concerning that issue, you know, I was not I was not impressed. I was not impressed in the sense that I expected him to be fully in support of uh, touch not anointed ones, because of course that is the man of God, supposed to be touch not the anointed ones, and so on and so forth. So he was not supposed to be criticized. He was not supposed to be punished and all that. So I wasn't impressed about that. So, but then there's something about me. I have this natural curiosity. I'm a very curious person. I'm very open-minded. No matter what, I still want to understand the reason why people say what they say. So, but I actually stopped watching him after that video. I didn't move further to check anything about him. So, but then I was on YouTube another day. I saw his video pop up, and he was attacking our top pastors in Nigeria. Ah, I said, this man, I don't understand why this man should attack top Nigerian pastors. So that was when I said, okay, I want to understand why he's doing that. Yeah, I needed to understand why he's doing that. So I started listening to him. I started exploring his YouTube channel with the mind that I want to understand why this man is doing what he's doing. So I get to the point where I saw um, a certain video titled, "Would you hate me because I tell you the truth?" There is a video like that. Would you hate me because I tell you the truth? I said, which one? Which truth is this man trying to? So let me listen to this video. So when I finished listening to that video, that was when I discovered the motive behind what he was doing. And then I told myself, I said, don't judge a man based on his method. Judge a man based on the reason behind his method. Don't judge a man based on what he's saying. Judge him based on the reason why he's saying what he's saying. I realized that DSL has too much passion for his country, too much passion for his country, and he believed that it is the responsibility of the church to change the nation. And then this kind of belief, I wanted to understand: is it where the nation where he is he changing it? So I went further to do some research. I want to, is DSA, what impact has it done in the nation of Ukraine? To me, that was a kind of critical thinking to me. I took time to explore that. So I realized that the impact that DSA is creating in the nation of Ukraine, my goodness, my goodness. If we have that kind of impact, half of it, or maybe a quarter, sorry, or quarter of that kind of impact in Nigeria, Nigeria will be transformed. Nigeria will be transformed. That was what I discovered. I mean, to the point where the church, DSA church, they have political party. I don't want to go into details, but anybody that wants to understand that, that person should go and study church shift, because I read the book written by Pastor Son Adelaja, Church Shift, and then I read another one, Pastoring Without Tears. I wasn't reading Pastoring Without Tears because I want to be a pastor. I needed to understand the principles. I needed to understand why he wrote that book. So if you read Church Shift, and then you read Pastoring Without Tears, you understand, you will know the full reason why this man is doing what he's doing. So his belief is that it is the responsibility of the church to change the nation. The only hope for Nigeria is the church. All right. And then he believed that every Christian is supposed to be productive. It's not just about being spiritual. That the purpose of our spirituality is supposed to be based on conversion. So we're supposed to convert our spirituality to become tangible, to become a product and services for human consumption. So the reason why Nigeria is where it is not because we are not spiritual. It is because we are not productive. So what is the essence of being spiritual when you are not productive? Because, I mean, when I sit down sometimes, I began to think about what DSA is teaching me, or what I've been listening to him, because I've downloaded his videos for over 150, over 200 now. I've listened to his video over 200 from YouTube. So if you listen to this man and you hear the wisdom and the mentality where he's coming from, you realize that Nigerian church, for example, is more of goal focused, not human focused. They are more of how many church we need to build, not how many people we are supposed to empower, how many people that we're supposed to make to become good, better citizens of the country. So Nigeria is, so they measure their success. We measure our success in church based on how many churches we have been able to spread, not how many how many citizens we have been able to empower. Are we taking building church building to heaven? Is it not human being that will go to heaven? It's not human being. It's just I just can't understand. So I find it difficult to sorry, did I say I find it difficult? I find it easy to understand him. I find it easy to understand him, because it is through him that I understand that church is supposed to be human focus, not church building focus. Yeah, and then the church is supposed to be nation development focus, not building focus. Not selfish focus. Sir, do you know that before I even came to Lagos, I was supposed to move to Lagos since 2016. Yeah, since 2006, I was supposed to move to Lagos. That was when I needed to move to Lagos. But I couldn't move because of the church where I was. So when I told the pastor that I wanted to move, because I was a senior cell leader in this, one of the senior cell leader in this church. I had some members. I was, things like that. So when I told this pastor that I want to move, and then he told me not to. I mean, how can you? What happened to your members? See your members, and you are growing. Look at you, you are growing. Can't you see you are growing? And you want to move. You want to. Who are you leaving these God children for? So he was interested. It does now. I now realize that this man was not interested about my own purpose, for me to fulfill my own purpose. He was interested about me taking care of his own. Because I don't know why people understand things. Like, I have my purpose, I've discovered my purpose. So I'm looking forward to see how I can develop my purpose to fulfill it, to satisfy my own God. Then you are telling me now to not, that one is not important. I should stay here because of the platform you have created called church. So I should stay here and save your own purpose. So it is now that I discovered that. I didn't know all these things then. So DSA has opened our eyes to the point where I realized that I am not just a child of God. I am complete the church. I am the church. I am the church. So the church is not the building that we have. I am the church. Now, the same thing, sir. Just imagine this same I am the church, or you are the church. If you ask the average Christian in Nigeria, they say they know it. If you are telling them you are the church, they know it already. And pastors, all our pastors, they also know that every Christian is the church, right? So, but what I don't understand is this: when you go to the church, the same pastor who tells you that um, that you are the church is the same pastor who will tell you, "Welcome to the house of the Lord, welcome to church." And then it's the same pastor that if you miss church service, one church service, they will ask you why you miss the presence of God. But it's the same pastor that tells you that you carry the presence of God anywhere you go to. So you are the presence of God, you are the church. So, but the same pastor that will tell you when you miss church service, the same pastor that will tell you that you have missed the presence of God. So you see the mental confusion. The mental confusion. I find it difficult to understand how we need to manipulate human will, how we need to manipulate human beings to conform to our own goal, to what we need to achieve. And then you have discovered your purpose, what you were called to do, and then you are on it. And then you now trying to manipulate others people to help you fulfill your purpose instead of you helping them to fulfill their own, to discover their own purpose and fulfill their own purpose so that they can contribute to the development of the nation. Rather, you want to look forward to enslave them and bring them under you so that they can bring more souls. Sir, I can't talk about this. I can't stop. DSA helped me to understand, even to the point where I now understand what we call Great Commission. Great Commission is not this definition of Great Commission is not the same thing that we have in Nigeria. It's not the same thing. It's not Great
So
Commission
what
that
is your
DSA.
understanding of the Great Commission before you met DSA and after you met DSA?
Yeah, fantastic. Great Commission before this time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so Great Commission, in my understanding and based on what I was taught, is Great Commission comes from this scripture that says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe what things soever I've commanded you to do." Right? And lo, I'm with you even unto the end of the earth. That is the origin of the Great Commission, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, so now it means that as a Christian, your number one job supposed to be soul winning. So, in other words, you are supposed to be on the street winning souls. And then you don't just win the souls, you bring the souls to the church and then train the souls and then send them out to go and win more. They also go and win more souls. That is to observe, to do what you do. So you have to bring them in and then train them and then send them to bring in more souls
Okay.
into the house of the Lord. All right. So now, but DSA taught me something different. Now I now realize that Great Commission is about you, first of all, discovering your own self, discovering the purpose of your own life, the reason why you are here on earth, discovering your own potential, developing yourself, and begin to help people solve other people's problem. And then on the process of solving other people's problem, you influence them, and then you begin to train them, and then to make them do what you do to others as well. Because if you discover yourself, you know how you discover yourself. So you should be able to help other people discover themselves, discover their purpose, discover their creator, the reason why they are on earth. And then they also, do the same thing that you do. And then it continues like that. And then that points me to the scripture that Jesus, there's a scripture that Jesus said, you are the light of the world. Oh, okay, he said, let your light so shine. Sorry, he said, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. Now, the word let your light so shine, the word light there means your potential. He said, let your potential, sharpen your potential so good, make yourself better. That is a statement of influence. The only way you can influence somebody is when you are able to solve the problem of that person. So the only way for Christians to be relevant in Nigeria specifically is when we have the skill, when we possess the ability to solve the problems of Nigeria. So we cannot play religion, we cannot play church, because that is not what Jesus Christ taught us. In fact, if you read another scripture, there's another scripture that Jesus said, he said, you have not chosen him, but I choose you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit. You should go and bring forth results. You should go and be productive. He didn't say you. So why are we confusing ourselves in Nigeria about church, 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 church? We are not practicing this true Christianity. We are not practicing God. We are not doing what Jesus asked us to do. It is wrong. It is error for us to say we love God, but we are not producing results. It is error for us to say we love God, but we are not representing God. Okay, sir. Sorry. Let's go back to the very first the scripture I just quoted. When Jesus said, "You are let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify their Father who is in heaven." Do you know what? The people of the world doesn't know God. The only way the people of the world will know God is when your light shines. And how will your light shine? It's when you sharpen your potential, when you develop your own self, when you become a problem solver. You can never become a person of influence until you develop yourself, until you use yourself to solve the problem of the people in the society. If you cannot solve problem, you cannot influence anybody. People listen to the people that are relevant to them. People listen to the people that can solve their problems. Every time I move around Computer Village, I see people preaching, and then they just be preaching. And then these are the same people that are supposed to go into their closets and ask God to show them what they were created to do, and then spend time to develop themselves so they can become relevant to the society. From there, we preach the gospel. Because if you listen to Christ, Christ said, He said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. In other words, go into all the world, go into the world of the soldiers, go into the world of lawyers, go into the world of doctors, go into the world of teachers. There are different worlds on earth. So if you're a teacher, for example, that is the field. All you need to do is for you now, develop yourself. If you discover yourself as a teacher, develop yourself and become so relevant in that area. And then you begin to influence people to begin to follow you in that area. That is the purpose of, that is the purpose of Great Commission. That is the meaning, the true meaning of Great Commission. That is my understanding about Great Commission. And that is what DSL taught me. That is why I love DSL. And I don't care about what the Nigerians, anybody is saying about DSL. Because I don't question his method. You know, I know the reason behind his method. God does not judge human being based on his method. God does not judge us based on our actions. God judges us based on the motive, the reason behind our action. If your reason for what you are doing is wrong, God judge you what. No matter how good you are, if your reason for being good is wrong, hey, God judge you based on that. God judge people based on reasons, not based on what you do. Not, for example, we have prostitutes, for example. We judge them because of what they do. But God does not judge them based on what they do. God judges them based on the reason why they do what they do. Because if you listen to them, you hear their stories, you will not have any reason to judge them. I listen to some atheists, for example. We call them atheists. And then some Christians criticize them. You cannot criticize people because these people, some of them were Christians, some of them were Islam. Some of them even, some of them backslid from, some of them leave or left Islam to Christianity, from Christianity to become atheists. Some of them left Christianity to Islam, and from there, it's just like that. So if you don't listen to these guys, you will never understand the reason why they do what they do. God does not judge human beings by what they do. God judges human beings based on the reason behind what they do. God sees the heart. So DSA has a pure heart. I believe without a doubt that DSA has a pure heart about what he's doing. So I don't care about what anybody is saying about him. My own is, I am learning from this man. I am not saying anything for DSA to favor me. Favor me for what? I didn't even know him all this while. I've been on my own. I've been I've been I've been doing things on my own. So I'm not looking for any favor. But this is a man that has changed my entire life. Just 2 years. This man has formatted my entire religious life. You know how somebody used 2 years. I started listening to him 2019. July. This is about 2 years, right? This is 2 years or close to going to 3 years now. Just 2 years. This man has changed my life. So I have every reason. To follow him. I have every reason to follow him. I have every reason. So if I want to talk about DSA impacts in my life, I will talk about it till tomorrow. And I will talk it without apology. Yeah, I will talk
Amazing. It's
about it without
clear that
apology.
you've really digested DS's message, because you're not just talking about what he says, but we can see that it is now part of who you are, and it's something that you've also come to understand for yourself. So that's amazing,
Yeah.
and we can see why it is that you have a mission to change the educational system in Nigeria. So talk to us about what you want to change in the Nigerian education system. You've spoken about the fact that different students learn differently, and you want teachers to understand that fact. So is that all? And what will
Okay.
you say to the Minister of education in Nigeria. I think that's Malam Adamu. So if you could meet
Yeah,
him, what
Adamu.
would you tell him that would help the Nigerian system of education to be a lot better so that 20, 30, 50 years from now, we can compete with the likes of Finland and Singapore and South Korea, and we can have an industrialized nation of civilized people who are leading the world in every single industry?
Okay, so first of all, we need to go back to the history of education in Nigeria. Yeah, because you cannot understand the present system of education in Nigeria and where the Nigerian educational system is going in the future without going back to the past. So 2 years ago, since I started studying the history of education in Nigeria, I discovered a lot of things. Now, I want to discuss one. One of the things I discovered that got my attention is the fact that education started in Nigeria, formal education started in Nigeria since 1842. Now, formal education started in Nigeria since 1842, but our colonial government did not invest in education, formal education. They didn't support formal education in Nigeria. They didn't finance it till after 30 years later, that is 1872. Now, the reason why they started investing after 30 years later was because they needed some specific skill labor that could help them to achieve what they wanted to achieve at that time. Right? So they needed people, some skills, they needed some workforce that could help them to achieve something for themselves, not for the nation. They wanted to achieve something for themselves. So they needed skill. So that is when they started giving money to the missionaries to train some specific skill labor to help them achieve what they wanted to achieve. Now, sir, as selfish as that may sound, and as terrible as that may sound, I learned something. I learned something from that scenario. I learned a great lesson from that. It means that these people, our colonial government had a problem, and then they needed some skilled labor. They needed people who can help them accomplish, who can help them solve that problem. Now, they pay school to solve that problem for them. Right? So, now, this is the lesson. School is supposed to be a factory that produces some specific products to solve some specific problem in the community or in the market space. School is supposed to produce some to solve some specific problem in the society. Take it for example. One of the greatest problems we have in Nigeria today is lack of jobs, isn't it?
Yep.
We have lack of jobs. That's the greatest problem we have in Nigeria right now, lack of jobs. In fact, according to National Bureau of Statistics, we have about 42.5% of youth unemployment in Nigeria. Can you imagine? That is a problem, a serious problem. So how can we solve that problem? So if school is a factory, it means that we're supposed to create a curriculum that starts producing people who can create jobs. Then we're supposed to create a curriculum a curriculum that's supposed to help people, to empower people with some specific skills that will become it is a specific skill that will help them to solve some specific problem in the society. For example, we have security problems in Nigeria. School is supposed to be a factory to empower some specific people to solve the security problems in Nigeria. Right? So
Yep.
we have poverty problem in Nigeria. We have poverty problem in Nigeria. School is supposed to be a factory responsible to produce some specific individual who can solve that poverty problem in Nigeria. In my opinion, sir, I believe that Nigeria does not lack jobs. Nigeria only lack those who could create the jobs. Nigeria as a nation does not lack jobs. Nigeria only lack those who could create the job. So our responsibility as a nation is supposed to be how we can empower as many people as possible that can create jobs. Now, we cannot achieve that until we go back to our curriculum. We can never achieve that until we go back to our curriculum. Because the curriculum is, I tell people, I said, education is not about transfer of knowledge. Education is about transfer of mentality. because it is impossible for you to transfer knowledge. You cannot forget about it. Let's just forget about this thing now. You cannot transfer knowledge. Knowledge is a result. Whether no matter what you know, if you don't produce result with what you know, you don't know anything yet. The only matrix to justify knowledge is result. Forget about it. If you know what you know, you cannot produce result. Forget it, you don't know it yet. So it's about the mentality first. So the curriculum that we have is the mentality of the people. Is the mentality of some specific group of people. Is their mentality, is their belief system, is their philosophy. They translate that their mentality and their philosophy into a curriculum, including their belief system. They transfer all of it into the curriculum, and then they now use this curriculum as a document to train, to duplicate, to train others people. So it means that we are, as graduates in Nigeria, we are the direct products of those who wrote the curriculum. We are, because we function with the same mentality that they use to produce us. So the practical example is this.
I think we've lost him for a second there, and we hope to get him back. So, guys, hope you're enjoying yourselves and hope you love what you're hearing. I'm definitely enjoying myself, and I love the fact that he's so passionate about the educational sector, and you can see from the way he's speaking that he knows what he's talking about because he has done his research. He has invested in himself. He has developed himself into somebody who can bring change to the educational sector. So my question to you today is, Mr. Smart is addressing education. What are you addressing in Nigeria? What are you addressing in your country? Uganda, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya. It does not matter where you are. The question remains the same. What are you addressing in your country? What problem are you fixing? What challenge are you trying to bring a solution to? Because you were created to solve a problem. How many people are you reaching every day? How many people do you plan to reach by the time you get to the age of 50 or 60 or 70 or 80? What plans do you have for the next 30, 50 years of your life? So if you're not able to answer this question, it shows that you're doing something wrong. It's time for you to begin to discover yourself. It's time for you to begin to invest in yourself. And then it's time for you to go out there and look for people who need what it is that you have so that you can begin to give them those solutions. And like you can hear, Nigeria's problem is not jobs. Nigeria's problem is job creators. And I believe very strongly that Mr. Smart is right in that sentiment and in that idea. All right, do we have him back now? All right, we don't have him back. We're still trying to reach him. I don't know if we're still going to be able to reach him today, but we've been with him for almost an hour and a half. And yeah, hope you enjoyed yourself. So, materials that can help you grow. We've spoken about Amazon.com. DSA has all his books on there. So please go read according to your passion, according to what it is that you want to do. We've got books on who you are, and we've even got a mentorship program called Who Am I, Why Am I Alive? So if you want to be somebody who would discover yourself and find out why you're alive and why you're in this world and what you've been put here to do, this is a mentorship group that you can join. Just write to mentorship@godembassy.org and tell us in your email which mentorship you want to join, or tell us, I want to join this mentorship of self-discovery, and immediately you'll be welcomed in and told what to do. You'll be taken through the program and you will understand who it is that you are by the end. And from there, you can begin to make an impact both on yourself and on the world around you. If you want to become a millionaire, there's also a mentorship group for you. And this is a special one because becoming a millionaire is a skill. Making money is a skill. It's not something that a lot of people know how to do. That is why you can see a lot of educated people in the world who are in debt, a lot of educated people in the world who are not financially free. In fact, most of the world's population today are not financially free. And that's because they don't understand the science and the skill that it takes to create wealth. So when you join this mentorship group, write to mentorship@godembassy.org and say, I want to become a millionaire. I want to understand how to make $1 million. You will be taught the principles, you will be taught the skill, and sooner rather than later, you become a millionaire. Now, if you just want to be a conventional DSA mentorship student, you can write to the same email, mentorship@godembassy.org, and say, I just want to be mentored by DSA. I want DSA to help change my mentality, change the way I think, and make me into a different person, somebody who will make history, somebody who would be a solution to the world, somebody who will not just complain, but be able to convert their frustration into solutions and into bringing relief for other people in the world. So write to that mentorship email address and you'll be welcomed into the program. You'll be told what to do, you'll be given the materials that are needed, and by the time you're through, I can assure you that you will not remain the same. Now you can go on YouTube. Thank God we've got the YouTube channel back. So you can go on YouTube and watch as many videos as you like. You can download them. Mr. Smart said he downloaded over 200 of them. And you can see the results from the way he speaks. You can see the result in his mentality. And you can see the result in the way he's going about getting things done. So make use of these resources, empower yourself to become a solution to your world. All right, do we have Mr. Smart back? All right, Mr. Smart, welcome back. I was thinking we were going to have to go without hearing the rest of what you were saying, but thank God that you're back. So is your network stable now? Can you hear me? He can't hear me, right? Oh, wow. And this is exactly what we're
I'm
trying to
sorry.
avoid that made us, choose the location where you're in. But I think you've told the people a
Yeah.
lot already and they have been blessed and their minds, I'm sure, are not the same. Too bad we will not be able to go on because your network is bad. But all right, thank you very much for coming. So guys, we're going to be back here next week, hopefully with another guest. And I'm sure that you would be blessed and you'll be happy that you joined us. So I'm sure many of you enjoyed yourself today. Please share this link with as many people as possible and so that they can learn as well. We need more people who would be like Mr. Smart in Nigeria. We need less complainers. We need less whiners. We need less victims. We want more people who are empowered. We want more people who are willing to go out there and create the world that they want us to see. I believe that Nigeria right now is still in its raw state. It has not really been created into the dream that God has for that nation, into the dream that each person has. If you talk to every Nigerian, I don't think there's any Nigerian who is comfortable with the way the country is right now. Even when you talk to the most elite of Nigerians, they want Nigeria to be better. And it's not going to happen automatically. We have to be the ones to create the country that we want. And you cannot create the country without you recreating yourself and bringing a solution to the country. So the ball is in your court. Make use of the resources that you've got. And I believe that sooner rather than later, we'll have a country to be proud of. We'll have a continent to be proud of. Thank you very much for joining us. See you same time next week. Remain blessed. And please go out there, empower yourself, and change your world. Bye for now.